Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by Titan FC welterweight Keith Johnson. Keith, how are you?
Doing great, man. Doing great.
Keith, you got a fight coming up April 25th at Titan FC 28. How's training been going for the fight?
It's been going real good. Feel healthier than ever, and just excited to start a new opportunity.
Mm-hmm. You're fighting out of Cage Fit. Is that your gym? Are you the owner?
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And go ahead.
I've been open for about 6 months now. Before that, I had a school for 5 years, and just split from my partners, and wanted to open up a bigger place. So that's why I started Cage Fit.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It looks like a really nice facility. I've seen some pictures of it. It looks very clean. It looks like you got a lot of room there. Exactly how big is it?
6,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
We got a full cage. Got about 20 heavy bags and 3 weights and like a CrossFit rig with pull-up bars and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Besides being the owner, what else is your role at the gym? Like, do you train other guys on the team or the fight team? Do you train like the average Joe? What exactly do you teach when you're helping out these people? You know, could you explain what you do at the gym?
Yeah, I help out with the MMA guys. My trainer, Shane Mills, is the head MMA guy. I teach the jiu-jitsu classes. That's my real passion. And I also teach all the kids' classes. We got 3-year-olds and up. And also do a few fitness kickboxing classes.
Mm-hmm. Was the gym that you were referring to earlier Auburn MMA?
Yes, it was. It was.
Okay. Mm-hmm. How long ago did you leave there? 6 months ago?
Yeah, about 6 months. August. Well, actually, I left in May, and when I left, started remodeling the building, and 3 months later, we opened up. Mm-hmm. So I started it in August 22nd is when Cage Fit opened. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I did that for about 5 years at Auburn MMA.
Mm-hmm. Did you leave on good terms, or was there something where you, had a falling out, or was it just something where it was kind of the plan, like, just focus on this gym for now, and then eventually get your own place? Was it kind of in the works?
I was a partner in it, and there were 3 of us, and one of us got along perfectly, had the same type MMA vision. He was an MMA fighter as well. The other one was purely jiu-jitsu, and wanted to go a little more traditional martial arts school route, and I grew up wrestling as a kid and stuff, and I liked a little more wrestling-oriented, MMA-oriented feel, more modern. So we just had differences and just couldn't get on the same page, and so I just finally decided that we were about to expand and double the size of our gym, and I just didn't want to be a part in the direction we were going when I had another vision.
I see. Now, what is the MMA scene like in Alabama? Because it seems like the only time Alabama is ever mentioned in the MMA world is when Joe Rogan's talking about his first experience at UFC 12 when he was in Dothan, Alabama, working the backstage. Like, that's really the only thing that we hear about Alabama MMA. So what is the scene like?
It's not bad. There's a lot of great amateurs. There are a handful of great pros. One of the best pros that come out of Alabama is a guy named John Salter.
Mm-hmm.
He actually fought in the UFC,
Yep.
and he's out in California. I believe he's Koscheck jiu-jitsu coach.
Yep, Dethroned Base Camp. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So he's one of the best to come out of state. He had an injury, and he's actually getting right back in the fight. So he'll be back. And there's a lot of good amateurs. We got some really, really talented amateurs in Alabama. And the amateur scene's great here. The pro scene is a little tougher just because you basically got to travel if you're a solid pro or better.
Mm-hmm. How many schools would you roughly say are in Alabama? Are you guys like, on the cutting edge? Are you guys like a pioneer of this, or is there a lot of gyms popping up here and there?
When I was 5 years ago, when I opened up, we were definitely one of probably 4 schools, I would say. Now there's a lot more schools. There's still probably the same 4 or 5 that are growing. A gym called Spartan Fitness in Birmingham, about 10,000 square feet, and they just opened a new facility, and they're really they're kind of with us. And then there's one or two more in North Alabama that are really, really good gyms. And then there's probably 20 smaller schools, real small schools, but that have more of an MMA feel to them.
Oh, I see. Now, you're going to be fighting Mike Brunzulis on April 25th. What are your thoughts about him as an opponent?
I'm excited, man. He's a tough opponent. He's been on some good stages and fought some tough people and beat some tough people. So I'm real excited I get the opportunity to fight him. Mm-hmm. I'm feeling great, and I feel like I got a lot of momentum on my side and just ready to match myself up with somebody tough. I haven't fought anybody with a losing record yet, and never plan on it. So I love challenging myself and just seeing, who all I can be.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know it's hard to say now because you haven't fought him yet, but based on who you fought in the past, where does he rank? Because you fought a lot of good guys. You fought Jeremiah Riggs, Steve Bruno, Jared Hess, Charlie Rader, Nick Rossborough, a lot of good guys on your resume here. Where does he rank?
He's pretty up there. He's probably in the top three, definitely, if not, one of the best. He's a little different style than the others that I've fought. Seems like a little more karate type in his style, with his striking and stuff. But I go and train with Stephen Thompson in South Carolina from time to time. So I feel like after getting kicked in the head by him a bunch, that I should be pretty well prepared for Mike.
Mm-hmm. When exactly did you get the offer for this fight? And also, when was the first time that you were in talks with Titan? When did they come into the picture and offer you a contract?
Started talking with them after my last fight in December when I fought George Lockhart in Atlanta.
Right.
And signed with them in January. And then I think about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, got the word that Mike was possibly the opponent. And so about 6 weeks now, maybe 7 weeks.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The reason I asked is because I don't remember seeing this on the original card that Titan put out. I think I saw this later. So
originally they had mentioned that I was going to fight Todd Moore,
right.
And that was what I was told at first. And then a few weeks after that, they changed it up and said that I would fight Mike. So I'm not sure exactly how the timeline fell, but yeah, that was originally they talked to me about fighting Todd Moore.
Oh.
So,
Okay. Now, is this fight going to air on CBS Sports Network as part of the main card, or is this on the undercard? That I think they have an internet stream. I'm not sure, but is it on the main card, this fight?
I'm not 100%. My name falls right in the middle, so It's either going to be like the last or one of the last undercard fights or the first main card. But so I'm not real 100% on that. I kind of just worry about what I got to do. And most of the time, I don't really worry about what my opponent can do unless it's something very specific. And just kind of, usually it's about, if he can't stop me, then it really doesn't matter what else he can do. Kind of impose your will is my mindset.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, you're on a 4-fight win streak, but not a lot of people are talking about you. I don't really know why, but for a guy who's on a win streak like you are, usually we start hearing about these guys. We start hearing people buzzing about an up and coming guy who's on his way to a big show. Why do you think you're flying under the radar? What is it? Is it from the area you come from? Is it you haven't fought in a big show yet? What do you think?
I don't come from a big gym. I don't. And it's technically 5 fights.
Okay.
But I don't. I train in Alabama, and virtually unheard of. My jiu-jitsu instructor is Sean Hammonds out of Nashville, MMA. But other than that affiliation, I'm really, nobody's ever heard of me. That's when I fought Mike Bruno. They basically flew me in to get beat up by him because I was a guy from Alabama, and so that's just I'm having to earn every single thing I've got. My last 5 fights, I finished every single fight, either the first or second round. 2 of appreciative that Titan gave me the opportunity to show off my skills, and real excited that I have a 5-fight deal with them, because before that it was, I get a fight here, get a fight there, and because I'm from Alabama and not from ATT, Coconut Creek, or, some big-name gym, nobody really takes me serious. And that's why I think I take it personal that I see so many of these guys, I look at their record, when you look up who they fought, and I see them fight a guy that's 6-29 or
right.
10-15, and personally it just bothers me because I would get nothing out of that. I don't even know if I could train hard for a guy that had a terrible record. Because I'm in this sport for the competition of it, and that's why I got into MMA. And, if it's not going to push me or challenge me, I'm not really interested in it. So, so it's kind of bugged me that I've really picked my opponents and made sure everybody's, got a better name than I do or a better record, and then just kind of, take them out one by one, and eventually somebody's got to give me a shot. Finally, Titan, I feel like, has.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Now, this card has a good mixture of guys who are up and coming, who are trying to make it to a big show, and then it also has another group of guys who have been into a big show and have fallen on hard times and now are trying to rebuild themselves back up. Where would you say, in terms of having to prove yourself, where would you say that you are? Because, like you mentioned, you haven't fought in the big shows and you don't come from the big gym. So where do you think you fall in on guys who, on April 25th, have something to prove? Do you think you're a little bit above some of these guys who maybe have fallen out of big shows because of this is the first time that people are going to be exposed to you? Where do you think you rank on the level of having to prove yourself on the 25th?
At the bottom. I just feel like no one's heard of me. I'm from, Auburn, Alabama. Other than football, not much else is said about the town, and so I'm sure I'm pretty much at the bottom. But I like it because my goal is after the next 2 fights to have a title shot. Because my goal is never just to win; it's to finish the fight. And out of my 13 wins, I've finished 11 of them. So I just feel like if I keep finishing people, then I'll get my chance.
Mm-hmm. What about Bellator and World Series of Fighting? Because it would seem like you would be someone who they'd be interested in. Maybe, who knows? They might have put you on a local undercard to bring in so that they could have someone else look good. You know what I mean? Like, you're no stranger to it. You've been flown into places and driven to places where they've brought you in to lose. What about one of those organizations? Why haven't they come calling?
I don't know. I've had my manager talk to just about everybody, and whether it's and part of it too. Alabama just got a sanctioning body 2 years ago, January of last year, actually, pretty much. So the first like 5, 6, 7, 8 fights that I fought in Alabama were unsanctioned. I can remember my first amateur fight had pride rules, and that's just because it was just each promoter makes up his own rules, and so I think that's part of it, because we don't have a sanctioning body, or we did for the longest, that people just kind of shrugged it off like, it's just a glorified bar fight,
Right.
So I think that's part of it, and just being from Alabama, I think in general people don't really think Alabama is having cutting edge anything.
Mm-hmm. Does it feel weird this time around preparing for a fight where you're not going into someone's hometown, because Mike Bronzoulis is not from Kansas? That's where this fight is taking place. Does it feel weird being on neutral ground, not being in enemy territory?
Not really, because to me, I'm still flying away from my home, and it's still a journey to me. So it feels like just a regular fight, because I won't get booed as much, but other than that, it feels like normal.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned that you're on a 5-fight win streak. The record that I have for you only says you're on a 4-fight win streak, and the record that they have down for you is 9-3. I've also seen 12-3 and 13-3. So I'm just curious, what is your official MMA record?
I'm 13-3, and I'm 13-3. Like I said, 11 finishes. I won 2 decisions, and my my last decision was against that Nick Rosberger, and that was at 85. And since then, I dropped to 70, and I haven't gone to a decision yet. So, yeah, it's just it's hard. I'm still working on getting a few of those fights on my record because I fought them, and my opponent sure didn't think it was not a fight. So it's tough to kind of get all those on my record. That some of them were in Alabama or just other states that haven't turned them in yet.
Mm-hmm. How many fights have you had at welterweight? Because I was looking at your record, and you have a lot of guys on your record that are middleweight. So how many welterweight fights have you had?
I've had 7, 6-1 at welterweight. I lost to actually when I fought Jared Hess, it was on 10 days' notice, and I bumped up to 85 just because my manager told me that if I beat him, he could get me a contract with a big organization. So it was worth the chance at it. So, but yeah, I'm 6-1 at welterweight. I lost to Alton Barbosa a few years back at Action Fight League in Miami.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, I was also looking at your record, and I noticed that there's a gap in between the Bruno fight and the Jeremiah Riggs fight. Is that just because this record is incomplete, or did you take some time off during that gap? What happened?
I took 2 years off. Part of it was I partially tore my MCL like in 2010, training up in South Carolina. And then, that was only 6 months and I was back normal, but then I had to focus on my Auburn MMA, my first gym, just trying to get it to where it was a good income because, now I would say the MMA scene is a lot more mainstream than, 4 years ago. So at that point we were trying to, kind of get our memberships up, and that's where my focus was with the business for a little while. Mm-hmm. I still train daily, but that has hurt me a little bit by taking that time off. But being a business owner and a fighter, it's I got to teach classes all night and then train.
Mm-hmm. I see. Now, for the people who will be exposed to you for the first time on April 25th, what would you say, how would you describe your style? What would you say your style is? Because I think you're a very good ground fighter. You have great submissions, and you love taking guys to the ground, and you love pounding on them. And if they keep letting you pound on them, you're going to continue to pound on them and let until the referee stops you. Or if they if you're able to soften them up, then look for a submission. How would you describe your style?
Yeah, that's a pretty good assessment of my style. I think my stand-up is better than what my last fight was shown, and I have a lot of confidence in my stand-up. Like I said, I've sparred a lot of great guys. I've gone and trained with Alan Belcher a bunch, and gone up to Rufus Sport with him for a few weeks and trained up there. And so my stand-up's great, but it's like I believe that if you can't stop my A game, why do I even need to show you my B game?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Now, this fight with Mike Bronzolis, if you look at it from his point of view, what do you think his camp's telling him to do against you in this fight?
Probably keep it on the feet, and that he'll just be able to, pick me apart standing up. Mm-hmm. So I would assume that's what they're thinking.
Mm-hmm. He's coming off of a fight against Joe Riggs, and he's fought a lot of big-name guys in a short amount of time. As he fought for Legacy, he was the champion at one point in time over there, and he's fought a couple guys since then that have had some good names. George Patino, amongst other guys. So I'm just curious, what do you think they view you as? Do they think they view you as some guy from Alabama who's just going to roll over? And not to use a pun, but do you think they view you as a step? A lateral step in competition? What do you think they view you as?
Hopefully they don't view me as a step down with some of the guys I beat and the way I've beaten them. But, I feel like it's his first fight with a new organization, so I'm sure he's going to be fired up for it just to make a statement in this organization. But, usually he seems like a professional guy, so I expect him to bring his A game. and be ready for me. I'm sure it's not going to be as big a fight to him as the Riggs fight, being that was a tournament and stuff. But I'm sure he's ready to get back in there and try to go for the belt in Titan.
Mm-hmm. Now, Mike Bronzolis is coming off of the Bellator reality show, Fight Master. So I'm just curious, Fight Master or The Ultimate Fighter? Did you try out for either one of those ever?
Yeah, I've tried out for the Ultimate Fighter, and when I went, there was like 700 guys there. It was in Chicago a few years back, and it was not the best experience. They put us in a room with 50 guys, and you randomly were paired up with somebody to go for 1 minute on your knees, grappling. And being a wrestler, it just was not a very good experience. I drove 12 hours to it, waited another 12 hours to do it, and then got 1 minute to show what I got. And I tried out for that, and then was kind of just a little bummed out about the whole experience. So I just figured I'd let my fighting do it for me, because I'm not a loudmouth, or I'm not I'm just a normal guy. I'm humble, and I like to work hard. I see how some of the guys get picked for the show, and I'm not like that. I'm not flamboyant. So I just figured I'd let the talking go on in the cage.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, what about living in the house? Was that something that you would have been okay with, or was that just something where you had to do it to try to make it to the UFC? It's not something that you would be looking forward to. It's just something that comes with the process. Or would you enjoy the way the setup is? Because a lot of fighters say that they enjoy living in the house because all you do is think about training and train and rest, and you don't have to worry about real life stuff. So would you have been okay living in that house?
Oh yeah, I'd have missed my wife, and I just had a son, but to me, that's the greatest thing, is all the distractions are taken away from you, except for, train and eat, sleep, train. That's to me, the greatest gift as a fighter is for someone to take every distraction in your life away other than fighting and training. So I think I would have loved it and thrived on it personally, especially with the type of training they got from the coaches and different fighters that came in. You couldn't ask for a better scenario to get better as a fighter. So, I think I'd have loved it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'm just curious, how did Titan find you? Because they seem to have, whoever's doing the talent evaluating and whoever signs the guys is really doing a great job. He's finding all these guys who like you, are flying under the radar and are on good win streaks. So who contacted you, and how did the deal come together? Did your manager go to them? Did they come to you? How did it work?
Yeah, my manager had been in talks with them when he heard that it had changed ownership and stuff. So my manager's he's been on the horn a lot for me, trying to just get my name out there, and because I am flying under the radar. So once I beat George Lockhart in December, I think that was the final push that they said okay, especially that was my 5th win in a row. So. So I think that's the main way, is he kind of put it in their ear, and then me being able to finish him. I think that kind of pushed me over the edge.
Mm-hmm. A lot of guys, it seems like, are signing with Titan because they feel that this is a way that they can make it to the UFC. Fight for Titan, do good, get exposure, and then use that as a launching pad to make it to the UFC. Are you in the same boat as those guys? Is that why you're with Titan, or is it just basically you need a place to fight? You keep getting flown in or driving to places where people are expecting you to lose. Is it someplace where you're just looking for a fight and have an organization that believes in you, or are you in the back of your mind still looking at it as a place where you can use it as a launching pad to the UFC?
A little of both. My first step is to establish myself in Titan, hopefully to win their belts. I know they got some tough guys, and so I want to establish my name first. That's my first step, and then always I'm trying to fight the best. I want to test myself. Like I said, I want to see what the best competition's like, because I believe I can compete with anybody, anywhere. So I want to win their belts. no doubt. And they definitely gave me my first break, so I'm definitely with them for a little while. And I want to help build Titan, so hopefully I put on a good fight for them.
Now, there's a UFC out clause in the contract. I don't know about World Series of Fighting or Bellator, but basically is what I'm hearing that you're just going to stick with Titan unless the UFC calls you?
Right. Yep, I'm going to be with Titan for at least 5 fights, and if I get an offer from UFC, then I'll just see what that offer is, and kind of go from there. But yeah, I'm with Titan until something else happens.
Okay, sounds good. Now, the first step towards building your name and getting more momentum and continuing this win streak, you got to get the win over Mike Bronzoulis. How do you do it?
Punch him in the face a few times, take him down, and then it's his choice at that point. If he wants me to punch him, I'll punch him. If he wants me to submit him, I'll do that. One of those two are going to happen till the ref pulls me off. So, it's a matter. I'm going to be moving forward. I feel like I'm a good size 70, and I just don't feel like he'll be able to stop me.
Keith, real quick before I let you go, I have one more question for you. What's your official nickname? Because I'm seeing a bunch of nicknames out here. I'm seeing the Home Wrecker due to the nickname that you got because you keep going into everyone's hometown and beating them. So there's Home Wrecker, there's the One. What's your official nickname here?
My official nickname is the One. I'm Keith the One Johnson.
Okay.
I just got the Home Wrecker off last couple fights just because I do get flown into everybody's hometown and booed and stuff. And so when I win, that's just what the post-interview fighters, people always tell me, or call me. So, but yeah, the One is my nickname.
Okay. And one last question. I'm just curious, because I'm sure you've had it both ways. Obviously, you've been in enemy territory, but I'm sure you've fought in front of your local fans. So what's better to hear? Is it the crowd, your crowd, going nuts after you win a fight, or is it that silence you hear when you go into somebody's hometown and those fans are expecting you to lose and then you pull off the win? What's better to hear?
That's a tough question. I love fighting at home for my friends and family, but I think it's going into the home crowd of somebody else and silencing them because it's a great feeling to hear silence and just all those doubters.
Now, I'm just curious, have you ever had like the Rocky IV thing happen where like you've been brought into someone else's hometown expected to lose, but then once you've performed well, the crowd has turned and now they're cheering for you? Has that ever happened?
Yeah, actually, it happened, it kind of happened against Bruno. I went to Miami and everybody was booing me when I came out, but after I beat him, I had tons of people in the audience come up and tell me great fight, and more so than I ever had before. So, it has happened that in Miami.
Oh, okay.
That was real surprising.
Okay, that sounds cool. Sounds good. Keith, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
I'd like to thank Iron Jaw, providing me with the mouthpiece and a great company, and then just to be ready because he's going to get choked out April 25th, and they'll remember my fight when it's done.
Keith, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it. Good luck April 25th at Titan FC 28 against Mike Bronzoulis.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.